Hi, I'm David Martin of the Mar-Kee Group. If you're in sales, then your ability to handle or overcome objections is really important. After all, if you have customers, you will have resistance. Now, we've identified more than 20 keys to handling objections, and I want to discuss one of the most important ones right now. It's called Understanding the Power of Persuasive Psychology. Dr. Ellen Langer, a professor of psychology at Harvard University, has spent decades studying human behavior to determine why people act as they do, often without even thinking. Now, in one of her most talked about experiments, she asked people to interrupt someone who was already making copies at a campus copy machine. Here's what happened. In the first phase, one of her research assistants would approach the person already making copies and ask, "May I use the copy machine because I'm in a big hurry?" 95% of the people allowed them to do it. In the second phase, the assistant simply asked, "May I use the copy machine?" With no reason given, only 60% were allowed to cut in. That is a big difference, from 95 down to only 60%. In the experiment's final phase, the assistant approached the copy machine user and asked, "May I use the copy machine because I have to make some copies?" Now, even though that is a ridiculous reason, "May I make copies because I have to make copies?" 89% of the people still allow them to cut in. That's amazing. Dr. Langer's conclusion was that to convince someone to agree to your request, simply give them a reason. And as by evidenced by the study, it doesn't even have to be a good one. And since you have great reasons why buyers should take your advice, be sure to tell them. The other compelling piece of her research is the use of the word because. What one-word question does every 4-year-old child incessantly ask? Why? After hearing why a dozen times and trying to answer them reasonably, frustrated parents almost always resort to a one-word answer, because, sometimes followed by "I said so." Psychologists suggest that the use of the word because is so powerfully ingrained in our psyche that even as adults, when we hear that word, whatever reason follows it is a satisfactory one. So when you're explaining to your buyers why acting now will benefit them, be sure to incorporate the word because followed by a value-added statement. Why? Because it will improve your chances of closing. I'm David Martin. Thanks for listening.